Five eerie items of clothing from the past. Number 5. Executioner's hood. When we think of an executioner, that's what we picture: a brute in a mask. The image is so iconic that it continues to show up in pop culture long after we stopped beheading the condemned. How many of us have seen a movie or played a video game where a masked executioner lumbers after our hero? Number 4. Capirot. The capirot looked creepy and uncomfortable, but that's the point. It was often worn by Spanish flagellants, religious extremists who whipped themselves as a demonstration of piety, or maybe they were just into that sort of thing. It was also used for grimmer purposes. Prisoners sentenced to death would wear the capirot, and people condemned by the Inquisition would be forced to wear them in public to make them targets of humiliation. It doesn't look as scary when you know who had to wear it, but now we're scared about the prospect of having one forced on us. Number 3. Their clothing, while maybe not scary in its own right, has grown to become associated with death and disease to the point where we'd cross the street if we saw someone coming towards us in that get-up. It's an unfair association. Leprosy was a misunderstood disease, and many lepers were actually suffering from eczema, smallpox or other ailments. Plus, leprosy was seen by many as a curse from God, which makes it tricky to get into someone's good books. That being said, we'd still avoid anyone dressed like that out of instinct. Number 2. Grotesque visors. Yikes. It looks like the mutant offspring of a dog and an alligator that's out for blood. Medieval warfare was horrific enough as it is. Did they really need to dress up as abominations of nature while they were hacking each other to bits? Good lord. We understand why they weren't worn in battle, because that extra weight couldn't have been helpful. But don't tell us you wouldn't drop your weapon and flee if you saw this guy marching towards you across the battlefield. That's a mask a highwayman would wear to freak out their victims. Or, more likely, a murderer. Number 1. Gas masks. Gas masks have always been considered creepy. Again, how many times have you seen them in a scary piece of pop culture? But there's something about their earliest incarnations that makes them even worse. Not only are they associated with the horrors of World War I, but they hadn't exactly perfected the technology yet. It was the first time in history where gas masks were mass-produced, and it couldn't have been comforting to head to the front lines in what was basically a prototype.